everybody's talking about Bill Gates and what he invested in vaccination, especially for the kids in Africa. Do you believe what Bill Gates is doing is good for Africa and the world? And what do you say about all the debate that is going on now on social media saying that he's actually killing the African children rather than helping them? What's your view on this?
Well, I beg to slightly disagree. If Bill Gates is actually killing the children of Africa, then we're not privy to that yet. That's the reality. But for the vaccines and its support, we can see the supports visibly. For instance, for every $1 we're able to raise in Rotary, Bill Gates gives Rotary $2 towards polio eradication. I mean, how is that killing the children of Africa? So I'll leave the audience to actually answer that question. Now, the reason there's a lot of conspiracy theory is because it appears that when Bill Gates is doing his philanthropy, there appears to be some form of business. For instance, Bill Gates has been pushing for vaccination for COVID. Yeah. And the research has shown that he also has interest in some pharma companies that are pushing to actually get their vaccines certified. Now you're beginning to see where the conflict comes in. So it appears like, okay, this is being done because of a business initiative. But however, I think it's really for the general good of the world, if you ask me, because it's glaring. And I'll leave it for the audience to decide. If somebody gives you $2 for every $1 towards polio vaccination, I think that person deserves some accolades. For instance, he never had anything to do with any polio vaccine, for instance. When we had problems in the north, it was just pure conspiracy theory and propaganda when people were saying the vaccines was meant to actually stunt the growth of the children, or it was meant to actually reduce the population of the north. I mean, it's all conspiracy theory. And Bill Gates had nothing to do with that. It's just because some time ago, Pfizer had to test some vaccines in the north without approval from the federal government of Nigeria. And then it went haywire. So it's resulted in some unwanted consequences. Yeah. So because of that.
I'm sorry, doctor. I guess the question is that people are asking why Bill Gates and the West are starting by testing those vaccination on the African kids. Why Bill Gates' kids himself are not being vaccinated, as we understand. So this is the question on the table. So what if you want to test the vaccination? Why don't you test it in America, in Europe, in Africa? Why only in Africa?
No, the truth of the matter is that WHO has come out to actually debunk that they did not say they're testing only in Africa. And incidentally, the world rep of WHO currently is an African, is from Ethiopia. And he has said, no way, there's nobody that is going to test vaccines in only Africa. They're going to test vaccines generally. If they test vaccines, for instance, in Europe alone, it may not have the same effects as in Africa. So when you're testing, you should do a broad-based testing. For instance, the candidate drug that I was talking about, the super infection therapy, we did the first stage of the clinical trials in Germany and Hungary. Now we're coming to Nigeria and Ghana to do the second phase of the testing. Now, if they're not aware of our previous testing, they'll probably say, why are you bringing it to Africa? But we need to let people know this is what we're doing, this is what we've done. So the WHO rep has come out to say, no, they're not testing any vaccines in Africa alone. They will test it everywhere, not just in Africa. Like when Madagascar developed the syrup for COVID, they were using it first. And besides using it, anybody that is going to use it, even when Nigeria took part of it, it still went through our regulatory agencies to ascertain the content of the syrup before they allow people to begin to use. So it's only normal for us as Africans to ask more questions, get details, get the facts before we throw the baby away with the bathwater. So I think we should work on getting the facts before we just give a dog a bad name because we want to crucify the dog.
That's a very fair answer and very very just.